DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. Now, we went to bed with the case count here in Ghana at 132. We woke up and now the update is that we have 136 cases. Before we get to the Ghana situation, I'm going to show you how the world or the global situation looks like with respect to the outbreak of the coronavirus. What I'm going to show you now is the coronavirus disease COVID-19 situation dashboard. This dashboard is by the World Health Organization. Now, what you see there is 509,164 confirmed cases and 23,335 deaths. And this coronavirus has now reached 201 countries, recording cases. Areas or territories with cases, 201. That's according to the World Health Organization's situation dashboard. Now, when you go to the Johns Hopkins University, what they call the Global Cases by the Center for Systems Science and Engineering, I want to show you what's happening on the continent before we get to Ghana. South Africa has actually now the highest case on the continent with 1,170. That's what you see right there. Now, this is the situation with South Africa, 1,170. Now, if you look at it this way and you scroll down quickly to find out what's happening in Ghana, you would want to also expect that they would put out that figures as they look like as the Ghana Health Service as well on their website, which is the official page of which we're getting all the information and the update here in Ghana, the GhanaHealthService.org/COVID-19. The total cases 136. They still have recorded 3 deaths on this site. Already, there are some sites are recording 4 deaths, but according to the Ghana Health Services site, it is 3 deaths. These 4 cases, according to the Ghana Health Service, the brief that they have here, as of the morning of 27th of March, a total of 58 cases, including 3 deaths, have been confirmed. Now, we're having reports of a first case in the Upper West region. Aisha, what are we hearing from the Upper West region with this new case?
In the Upper West Regional Minister Hafiz Bin Sali is said to have announced that a case of coronavirus has been confirmed in regional capital Wa. The patient is a 42-year-old Ghanaian who visited UK, Spain and returned to Ghana through Egypt. Now, he returned to Ghana 8 days ago through Egypt and traveled from Accra to Wa through public transport and has been confirmed COVID-19 positive.
I have an unpleasant information for all of us, and that is a 42-year Ghanaian who visited UK and Spain and returned to Ghana 8 days ago through Egypt and traveled from Accra to Wa through public transport has been confirmed COVID-19 positive. This is the first case of a suspect whose samples were taken for tests, and the result is that the patient is a COVID-19. The result is positive and it is not pleasant at all.
That's the Upper West Regional Minister. It's not clear whether this particular case is part of the 4 new cases that the Ghana Health Service announced in the early hours of today. Now, the fear about this, which indeed a lot of people have expressed, is that this person who tested positive in the Upper West region was on a public transport. Now, what that means is we have to now do contact tracing to find out how the people who are on the public transport with this said person. And we don't take phone numbers of people who get onto Trotro or these intercity buses. So it's something that really we're working on seriously. We're going to be keeping an eye on that and be getting you some more details as to how the Ghana Health Service and the Upper West Regional Minister intend to go about tracing exactly how many persons were on this public transport that this person who was confirmed positive was on. But the Electoral Commission has withdrawn a constitutional instrument it laid in Parliament just 2 weeks ago. The CI, which expected to give legal backing to the Commission to compile a new register, had defects which were highlighted at a meeting between the Electoral Commission and the Subsidiary Legislation Committee on Thursday. Consequently, the commission was made to withdraw the CI to lay a new one. Roxanne Dafyameko is a member of parliament for the South Dai constituency. He joins me on the telephone. I thank you for your time this evening. Now, so a new CI has been laid. What does this mean for that intention that the Electoral Commission had to go ahead to compile the new voters register?
Thank you very much for your opportunity, and good evening to your viewers. Now, what it means is that in terms of reckoning of time, it ceases with the withdrawal of the originally laid instrument. Now, the new one was laid yesterday around this time, so it's just about barely 24 hours old. Members of Parliament, and especially members of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, were given their copies today. We have looked at it. We've seen the new insertions that they've done, but it still perhaps doesn't satisfy some of the fundamental issues we raised. But that's a matter that we'll take up at the committee level when we next convene to consider the content before it eventually passes with the passage of the duly 21 days.
I see. So what that means is that, I mean, from the situation as we speak, 21 days may not, I mean, you're not going to be sitting within this 21-day period that this whole, the CI has to go through, isn't it?
Yes. What it means is that we are rising next week Saturday, and so for this meeting, which ends next week Saturday, they may obtain about 9 sitting days.
Right.
And so the next outstanding days will have to be reckoned when we next convene sometime in May.
Right. Anyway, we'll see how it pans out. Thank you for your time this evening. The South Dai Member of Parliament, Roxanne Dafyameko, there.
We're still staying on COVID-19 and matters arising, and Accra High Court has dismissed an injunction and substantive case seeking to prevent the National Identification Authority from registering Ghanaians in the Eastern region for the Ghana card. The High Court has dismissed an injunction application that sought to stop the National Identification Authority from continuing with work. According to the court, the NIA's decision is not against the President's directive banning all public gatherings. The judge, Justice Antonio Pong, said the directive did not stop operations of businesses, but rather asked operators to observe certain protocols, including social distancing. Each of the applicants will be awarded 3,000 Ghana cedis.
Well, although the NIA has the green light to do this, they are saying that they have indefinitely suspended its mass registration exercise in the Eastern region. Now, the NIA says it welcomes the dismissal by the High Court of the interlocutory injunction application and the substantive suit filed against it, but will continue to suspend its mass registration operations in the Eastern region until further notice, according to a statement issued by the head of corporate affairs of the NIA, Francis Pamdeti. The decision to suspend the registration follows a careful assessment of the exercise in the Eastern region, taking into account the spread of COVID-19 in Ghana. Meanwhile, NIA will continue to observe developments relating to the management of COVID-19 in Ghana and will determine at the appropriate time when and how to resume its mass registration operation. So that's the latest from the NIA, although the case indeed in court today gave them the green light to go ahead with registration. And a lot of people raised concerns about this in the wake of the fear of the coronavirus outbreak, and we're asking that the president makes a specific statement on this because he indeed also appointed the NIA boss indeed, and some have questioned the silence on this matter. But let's stay a bit further on this and get some analysis on this particular. And one of the lawyer for the plaintiff who went into this particular case. We'll get some details on that. I want to thank you very much, Ernie, for your time this evening. First off, how do you react to how the case panned out in court today and the eventual decision by the NIA to suspend the exercise?
Hello, good evening and good evening to your listeners and viewers. First and foremost, let me just do a correction. I'm not lawyer for any of the parties that went to court.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer for any of the parties that went to court.
Right.
Well, the information that I have, I mean, based on what is out there and based on what I witnessed firsthand, is that there was an application for injunction to restrain the NIA from going on with the registration in Koforidua, in the eastern region, let me just put it that way. And then I think the basis for the application, amongst other things, was that there was a directive by the president that people should stay home contain the spread of the COVID-19. But that application was opposed by the NIA and the Attorney General. And their reason essentially was that the presidential directive did not apply to the services that were being rendered by the NIA. So the court took a decision on it today. And in the view of the court, there is no justifiable basis for the NIA to be restrained from carrying on the registration in the eastern region. But then before that, I have been informed, and I've spoken to the lawyer for the applicants, that they filed a motion to discontinue or withdraw the application and the action in its entirety. According to the lawyer, he had such instructions from his client.
I see.
Yes, so when he went to court in the morning, he was going with the intention of withdrawing the matter from court.
Okay.
But I think at the time, both he and the Deputy Attorney General, I think, were some minutes late to court. So when they got in the court, had already started with his ruling on the injunction.
Okay.
Although the court acknowledged that he had cited a copy of the affidavit, the motion for withdrawal, but because they were not in court to move it, he was going ahead with his ruling. So that's what happened, and the court gave his ruling.
Jankwa, I want to thank you very much for this very quick summary of what happened today. But there's a private legal practitioner, Randolph Chumesi Ankra, there. That's just a clarity to the earlier description given to him.
Still on the NIA registration, the minority leader Haruna Idrisu has expressed disappointment over the decision by an Accra High Court to grant permission to the National Identification Authority to continue its registration exercise. An injunction application was dismissed by the court on Friday, paving way for the NIA to resume the registration. But Deputy Monitoring and Evaluation Minister William Sabi has justified the court's decision.
I'm profoundly disappointed in the ruling of the court, not giving meaning and support to the directive of President Nana Addo Dankwa, the Executive President of the Republic, that Ghanaians not more than 25 for purposes of public gathering should gather in order to protect lives, human lives, and to prevent the spread of the coronavirus threat. To hear that a court has ruled that the National Identification Authority can continue with mass registration will mean that they are giving a license to public gatherings. That defeats the purpose of the President's directive, and citizens will be better justified to disrespect the President's directive.
What we should note that the President didn't say that businesses should stop operating, but the President advised that we should observe social distancing whilst operating our businesses for the purposes of safeguarding the lives of the workers or staff and our clientele. Now, based upon that, the National Identification Authority also decided to put measures in place to ensure that we are actually going by what the President has advised us to do. In doing our registration exercise before the coronavirus pandemic came, we have set our own targets to be achieved within a specific period, which we are going around to do. Indeed, let me say this pandemic is going to affect even the target and the time because unlike what we were doing in other places, now we have had to slow down.
Well, President Akufo-Addo is expected to give an update tonight on the coronavirus outbreak in Ghana. This will be the president's fourth update on the global pandemic. Ghana has recorded 136 cases, as you might be aware, of the COVID-19, with 3 deaths and 1 recovery. That have been caused by groups and individuals for the country to be locked down. We keep an eye on this and should let you know definitely that when that particular update comes up, you will get to hear it here on TV3.
Now let's talk about a purported leaked police document that has been trending on social media for some time now. And the Ghana Police Service has withdrawn with immediate effect its operations order on the deployment strategy for a lockdown of Accra, Tema, Kumasi and Obuasi. The wireless message signed by Assistant Commissioner of Police Joseph Osuansa explained that further directive on the content will be issued in due course. Now, all departments under the service have been copied.
Well, the minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Iddrisu, warns government to keep MPs informed about its plans regarding the coronavirus pandemic. Addressing the media in Parliament, the Tamale South MP noted this would help in communicating same with constituents to enable them prepare.
The President can exercise his powers under Article 31 of the Constitution. I have maintained that he didn't need to come under 21 as he did. And for instance, we are all talking about lockdown, honorable lockdown. That is why the people's representative at all times must know what the thinking of government is. They will relate to our constituents that this is coming, prepare for it, adjust to it. But I think at this time, we need to be united as a country in preventing, containing, managing, and combating COVID-19.
Now, let's look at the impacts that COVID-19 have had on some businesses in the country. While the coronavirus is fast spreading, hairdressers and barbers have to remain in business. Some of the artisans who spoke to our reporter Evelyn Tingma says they are taking precautionary measures to prevent contracting the virus.
Their work requires them to come in direct contact with their clients. This barber in Adenta says he knows his job is risky, but he's taking precautions.
I use liquid soap and Dettol to wash my hand. And after that, we have this alcoholic this thing here. So I use that one also to clean my hand.
He said only a few of his customers still come to trim their hair.
Sometimes when they come, you can see some people, they have sweat on their forehead. I use a tissue to clean everything first. And most of them, when they come, you can see they are holding their own sanitizers.
Mushkila Banks is also a barber, and he says they are doing their best to protect themselves and their customers.
The business is moving, but not like first. Some people are afraid that maybe they don't want to get infected. We use this, This is the sanitizer, so every customer must use it.
Customers are asked to wash their hands before entering the salon. This hairdresser says business has slowed as most customers are scared visiting the salon, even though she has put in some measures. Rhoda Inti is a regular customer to the salon, but not at this time that the coronavirus is fast spreading.
Personally, I haven't been to the salon for close to 3 weeks now, I guess. before the outbreak of this coronavirus in Ghana. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, I will go to the salon. No.
Well, government says over 1,000 people have been quarantined to ensure they are in safe hands and away from the coronavirus. These were persons said to have come at the time the airport, that's the air, sea, land borders, were closed. Now, these persons have been put under mandatory quarantine and will be there for 14 days and still be observed. Now, Colonel Festus Aboagye is under quarantine and he's joined me on the telephone. Colonel, good evening to you. Thank you for your time this evening.
Good evening, Chief. Are you Mr. Bright?
Hello, sir.
Are you Bright?
This is Alfred, please.
Okay, Alfred. Good evening.
Great. Thank you for agreeing to speak with us, Colonel. Tell me, first off, if you've been tested, how's the experience being under quarantine as we speak?
Well, it's fine, but fine in the sense that we need to understand that as individuals, we all have different levels of resilience, you know. So I cannot speak for everybody that every one of us, 1,030, is coping in isolation as well as everybody else. Speaking for myself, right. I'm fine. I would say in very general terms that the management, that is the hotel management, at least where I am, has improved considerably. On the corona side, under the management or execution of national security, the biggest loophole is information flow to those of us who are the subjects of the quarantine. Information doesn't flow. And that, I think, is not very good for the mental health of some or all of us.
I see. Now, it's an important point that you make right there. And let me bring you to, the reasons that some are calling for limited lockdowns or gradual lockdowns, because there are many who say that the virus doesn't move. I mean, human beings move the virus. So you'd want to expect that now that the numbers are small, you might employ these containment measures so that we can actually be able to manage the cases. Do you agree?
No, we need to be very careful. We're dealing here with probabilities. We do not know since late last year, let's say December, or from very early this year, we're not very sure about how many people, Ghanaians or non-Ghanaians, might have come in to the country carrying the virus. We don't know. Simply because we're not doing the testing on a scale that, let's say, South Korea is doing. So the country doesn't know the prevalence of the coronavirus within the society. Now, because we, the human beings, have become the vectors for the virus, i.e., we are carrying the virus and in contact with others, spreading it, we need to make a choice whether we want to restrict our movement in order to contain the virus or the spread of the virus, coupled with other measures like, testing and so on and so forth, or whether we want to enjoy our liberties and allow the virus to spread.
Colonel, I want to thank you very much for I think I lost Colonel Festus Aboagye there, but it's really very revealing talking to him and the experience there and the flow of information. Colonel Festus Aboagye is under quarantine, security expert sharing his thoughts with us. Just live here on the News 360. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279. Stay with us. There's a lot coming up with the impact of the coronavirus on the economy and the way forward as we await the finance minister's assessment of the impact of a possible lockdown.
I'm a proud old student of Agri Memorial Senior High School. My school needed a facelift, and Deluxe acrylic paints came in
and did their magic. And wow, the school looks
The touch is simply classic.
The school environment is now conducive for us all to teach and learn.
After the painting, our colors are just phenomenal.
Exquisite, a conducive place to study now.
Proud to be an Amazing.
The luxury acrylic paints you can't contest.